Well, how do I know it's a reliable source? There's just, how do I know? If I want to know I can't touch your hair, then isn't it better that I just get it directly from the source? Hello? Hey y'all, how you doing? You good? Good. Alright, just checking in. You good? Did you guys recover from that nail-biting election earlier this week? Lord Jesus, I was stressed the fuck out. I'm gonna tell you, I had to just log off the internet because that was too much for me. But that is not what I'm here to talk about today. What I wanted to actually talk about today is I wanted to have a little conversation about this whole idea behind the phrase Google is free. The phrase Google is free is usually always used by oppressed people, people who are minorities, in response to people who are in privileged groups, i.e. white people, straight people, cis people, whatever, who are coming to oppressed groups of people and asking really basic, repetitive questions that we have answered over and over and over and over and over again. I just kind of wanted to dive into a little deeper conversation about why that is such a problem and it's unproductive and it's just frustrating for everybody involved, and why you should stop. Because it's not just us being like refusing to help like so many quote-unquote allies like to say. But before we do so, y'all know the drill. If you haven't done it yet, which I know some of y'all ain't, go ahead and click that little subscribe button down there in the corner. Okay? Did you click it? 'Cause I'm watching you. Just click it. It's just like, click. You can be done by now. Like, why are we still doing this? Click the subscribe button. Okay? Okay. Okay. So, Google is free. I say Google is free literally all the damn time. I'm going to start selling t-shirts. I'm going to get it tattooed on my neck. It is very frustrating to have to explain the same information over and over and over and over and over and over again to people who should know this information by now. And that is why we always refer people to Google. Now, apparently, the vast majority of privileged people in the world do not know what Google is, because for the same amount of time that you took typing that question to me, you could have literally typed that question into Google and have your answers. Like, why do you need to send it to me when you know how to find the answers without bothering me? Here's the thing. This is not just people of color or minority people being like arrogant or not wanting to help people learn and all those stupid ass excuses y'all throw out. What it is it's oppressed people who have been fighting their entire motherfucking lives and been explaining this basic shit to y'all for centuries, being tired of having to repeat ourselves. Now, I don't know if y'all remember how Google works, but Google is a search engine, which means it searches keywords. So if you type the word racism into Google, it is going to pull up thousands and thousands of articles, of blogs, of videos, of literally anything on the internet that has the word racism into it. So instead of bothering oppressed people who literally have to spend their entire lives explaining basic shit to the people who are oppressing them and taking their power and their lives away, you could just type that same stupid ass question into a search engine. And the other reason is that because we have been talking about this forever, this information is already out there on the internet. I don't understand why y'all be acting like minority people have never like written this shit down. We have written books. We have blogs. I'm making a YouTube video right the fuck now that will show up in a Google search. We have made movies. We have made documentaries. We have made TV shows. There's so much information out there. It's so unproductive. People who have to spend their entire lives explaining this shit over and over and over again to people who just refuse to understand it at this point. Because it's 2018. There is literally no excuse for you to not already know what racism is, why touching black people's hair is not okay, what transgender means. There's no reason for you to not know this. This has been talked about. The information is available for those who aren't lazy. Because everybody else is on board. You just refuse to do it. So if you decide you want to be late to the party, you don't get to show up at the party and demand that everybody start over from the beginning. No, bitch. You're the one who's late. You're going to have to do the work and do the research yourself and catch up to everybody else. If you go to the movies start at 8 p.m., right? and you bring your ass in at 9:30, you don't get to sit there and demand that we start the movie over from the beginning because you was an hour and a half late. Everybody else was on time. We all got the same information. We all have the same access to the information. We all got the message that the movie starts at 8 p.m. and somehow the rest of us were able to show up. You were the one who decided you wanted to dilly-dally and fuck around and show up at 9:30, and that's fine. That's your life. Do what you want to do. But you only going to see the next half hour of the movie, bitch. We're not starting it over because everybody else got the message we got here on time. So if you want to watch the beginning of the movie, you're going to have to purchase a ticket to the next show, and you're going to have to wait till it come out on DVD and watch it from the beginning on your own time. Because the rest of us did what we were supposed to do. It's the same thing here. Everybody else is on board. Everybody else did their own research to get where we are right now. If you want to be the one who wants to all of a sudden have a revelation and decide that being a racist, homophobic, transphobic piece of shit is not cool anymore, guess what, sweetheart? You're going to have to do the work on your own to catch up to the rest of us. We already put in the work, and we already on step 10, and you want to dilly-dally in a century late and be on step 1. We're not going to run back to step 1 to help you, sweetie. We already over here. We already got a whole bunch of other issues that we got to focus on. We're not walking backwards to catch you up. You do the work to get to step 10 and meet us there, and then we can all proceed, okay? Now that we got that basic shit out of the way, I want to address a couple of things, because every time we try to have this conversation with privileged people, there's always an excuse on why they can't do the research by themselves. The number one excuse that we always hear is, well, how do I know it's a reliable source? There's just, how do I know? If I want to know I can't touch your hair, then isn't it better that I just get it directly from the source? Hello? Most of the stuff that we're talking about is not based in sources, right? Unless you're talking about something that is literally scientific. Most of the stuff that we're talking about has to do with society and culture and personal experiences. If you are coming to me asking, can you explain to me why white people shouldn't touch black people's hair? There's not going to be a scientific study for you to look at, right? Because it's not based in science. It's based in racism and the norms of our culture and our history and all that bullshit. So if you're Googling stuff and you're looking for scientific papers on why you shouldn't touch people's hair, you're not going to find it. A reliable source when we're talking about things that are based in society and social standards and the history of racism is going to be personal experiences. So me giving you an answer is going to be no different from you Googling and finding the blogs that I personally have posted on this information and the hundreds of other black people who have literally talked about this for centuries. You could just look it up. It's not that difficult. Also, I don't know about you, but I learned how to check sources in like 3rd grade. So if you have passed the 3rd grade, that is a really fucking stupid excuse. In fact, at this point, everybody knows how to use computers. My 2-year-old niece knows how to use a computer better than I do. If she knows how to fucking find a source and check it, then you, a grown-ass adult, should know how to figure out whether or not a source is reliable. Additionally, even if you are looking at scientific or research-backed information, everybody who has ever done any amount of a research paper knows that you should not rely on one source of information for your ultimate truth. Every time you have been asked to write a research paper, you always have to have a certain amount of sources that you cite. Even you coming to me asking, why can't I touch your hair? When I'm talking, I'm only speaking for myself, right? I can give a general, overall consensus that is agreed upon by most black people as to why you should not come up and touch our hair. However, I am one person. You should not be taking my information as the ultimate truth, because I'm just one person. So even if you come to me and ask me, you still are gonna have to go to hundreds of other people to get their perspective as well. So instead of bothering hundreds of black people who are literally have to worry about not dying by people like you every time we leave the house, why don't instead you just use the information that has already been published for everybody to fucking read? Why not? Why not? Give me an answer as to why you cannot just do that. Why, Agatha? Tell me why. And I even do this myself. as I have already said before, and as we all know, everybody has privilege in some way. For example, I'm a cisgender person, which means I don't know shit about the trans experience. So when I need to learn something about the trans experience, I'm not hitting up every trans person on the internet talking about, can you please explain your experiences to me? No, I type that shit in Google. I read a bunch of articles explaining these situations, explaining the difficulties and the laws or whatever it is on the specific things that I'm trying to research, and I figure it the fuck out. It's not that fucking difficult. I do it all the time. Like, as a self-proclaimed ally, and this is why I always say allies do not get to give themselves that label, you should be doing most of the work. The whole point of being an ally is that you're taking the burdens off of the oppressed people, right? And the biggest step in doing that is to educate yourself and your other fellow people. Like, that is the basic ass shit to everything related to oppression. The last thing that I want to touch on is how to approach people when you do actually want to ask a question. None of us are saying to never ask a question, like, ever again in your life. That's not the problem. The problem is when you do ask us, first of all, you're asking really basic information that we've no doubt probably already talked about that day, and all you had to do was scroll like 3 swipes and you would find it. Y'all are just being lazy. Secondly, those of you who do come and ask us usually are the most rude, off-the-wall, bonkers-ass people who ask about it. It's never like, hey, I was doing research and I found this article and I wanted to know your thoughts about it, or I wanted to know if you agreed, or blah, 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 anything. But no, it's always like, can you please give me the history of black people from when Jesus was on earth to right now? And I just want you to know that I am not a racist and I'm doing this for your people. Like, bitch. What? Teachers get paid, so if you want me to do all that motherfucking work, you better send me a motherfucking check, because I'm not doing all that work for free. We not gonna do all that. If you want people to work with you, if you want people to respond to you and be nice, then you better approach me how you want to be approached. Don't come up here asking me for 7,000 motherfucking things and expect me to just be like, oh yeah, sure, of course, Whitney, oh my god, I love serving the whites for free. Oh my god, great, slavery, yay. You are always welcome to ask people, but those people also have the right to say no. In any situation ever for anything on earth, people are always allowed to say no. People do not have to say yes to you. I don't care what situation it is. A lot of us are dealing with real shit in our real lives, and we don't want to have to take time out to educate ignorant ass people when you could learn that information for free. Literally anytime, day or night, 24/7, around the motherfucking world. You could do that yourself. So if you come to somebody and you ask them, even if you are respectful or whatever, and they say, I don't want to do that, then you need to be cool. Thanks so much. Hope you have a great day. We're not entitled to our time, our information, or our life stories. That is not, you don't own us. We don't have to do anything for you. Now that we're all on the same page, that is all I really wanted to talk about. Y'all be respectful, do the work your damn self, and as always, Google is motherfucking free. Hey y'all thought I was dumb, but I'm not. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. If you have not done so yet, please hit the subscribe button down the corner. It helps me, it helps you, it helps me help you, and you know, I very much appreciate it. Virtual high five to you. Hey, you could give this video a thumbs up and go ahead and share it with whoever you think could use this information. Go ahead and do that, and I will catch you guys on the flip side.